Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to what has now become me and my father's podcast. Blake will be back though.
Boo. I mean, yay. I mean, whatever.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, great. Voices are back. Well, I mean, you just keep going to games that end up being a lot of in-arena kind of, things to talk about. Yeah. This was the most fired up I think I've gotten for a game in a while from my TV. I think the only other ones that came close were probably the shootout games against New York and Dallas.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. That Edmonton game was something.
Yeah, I was just
different kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, that was exciting, but it was, I don't know. They also played like crap for the first half of that game, and it was just, I don't know. It was a little bit less, Yep. There's a lot more stress involved.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was just...
It's nice of them to do a back-to-back and not have any stress in either of the games.
Right, yeah, that's... I was a little bit stressed just like once after the nonsense when Devontae's dropped the puck to the guy on their team. I was like, good God!
Not good.
And then they didn't score.
Yeah.
What kind of gave me some confidence was when they was in the second period where that one guy missed that wide open net, and then pretty much like a minute later the Avs scored. When you miss chances like that, very seldom are you going to win hockey games. That's just not a sustainable way.
Yeah. Very seldom am I going to win hockey games anyway. So, but yes, I get what you're saying.
You won a championship before.
Yes, I guess that's technically true.
It's not technically true. It happened.
Well, yep.
There are pictures to prove it.
Yeah, sad, embarrassing pictures, but yes, they exist. They are out in the world. Not that anybody could find, I don't think, but
I think
there are plenty of other weird pictures of me that people could find online before they find those.
That's true. Well, anyways. A game that, no surprise this was going to be an emotional game. This was Nazem Kadri's return.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what it was. I got a little misty when they called him out for the puck drop. That just made me happy.
For the ceremonial one?
Yeah. And it was a nice ceremony.
Yeah. I thought that was really great that they had him, because that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Kadri was his willingness to be kind of outspoken and vocal about, the fact that minorities should have a higher profile in hockey. And
this is not particularly relevant, but something that I don't know. It's kind of I don't know why. I was watching a game on Sportsnet, I think. And they had like this little right at the start of the broadcast where there was like this compilation of all the black players in the NHL and no Nazem Kadri. And I was like, what? Yeah. Why? It was, I was weird. Just a random thing that I thought of. I don't know. Cause like,
also,
it's just
it lasted
weird
like
because
15 seconds. So,
right. Well, and he's like, I don't know. It's not like, I mean, he's
one of the proponents of it in the league. Yeah, I think that leaving him out of something like that is kind of,
especially when he plays in Canada.
Yeah, yep.
It's just weird. But that doesn't really matter. Anyways, so that happened. But before you could get to being all sad and sappy for Nazem Kadri, Nathan MacKinnon was like, let me just score a goal.
Yeah, it was not a bad thing to do. It was very much like last night. It was just kind of like, I'm just going to go ahead and score a goal, guys.
Yeah, I'll just get this out of the way. This is going to happen at some point. We'll just make it easy. And it's the same place it always is. It's just high glove. It's like, this is, why Nathan MacKinnon doesn't score enough one-timers? It's because he tries to catch the goalie. He tries to beat the goalie to the post. He should just be shooting glove side.
Apparently.
That's his magic spot.
I don't know how well this one was a little different because I do think that he got a little bit of the way he played the defenseman to kind of work him as a screen on that. Yeah. Little different from last night, but
yeah, he's not. It's not just him against the goalie, and he's just beating him.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
He's beating a defenseman too, which you'll love to see.
Can you do this not under my desk, please?
Okay.
Get your tail somewhere else. Okay, thanks. Goals like that, I mean, you're in the crowd. The goals like that can really fire a building up, and I feel like.
Oh yeah, no, I mean when it happens that fast, I mean it wasn't as fast as last night, obviously, but they then like right away, right after that. Rantanen had a great opportunity too, and just barely missed it. It was, it just became, it's that kind of stuff that just makes you, when you're in the stadium, just go, all right, this seems like it could be a good night.
Right. By the way, cake. I got strawberry cake because it seemed like the Avs at least were seeing red tonight. So.
Oh, I wore my. Try to do this without flashing my belly at everybody, but where my Colorado Fire Department.
That's a good shirt to wear. I thought when you first pulled it up, there was burgundy, and I thought you were wearing your Too Many Men shirt. That would have been cool.
I almost changed to my Too Many Men shirt. I wore this morning. I put on this shirt, and then this afternoon I thought, I could wear my Too Many Men shirt, and then I was just like, no, I'm wearing my Calgary Fire Department. That's from the series. That's one of the most disappointing things to me with the Avs over the last two seasons with playoffs. They did that. They had this shirt for the Calgary series, and then they had the sushi socks for the San Jose series, and then they've never done anything like cool for playoff series.
I don't know if it was just poorly timed because it was it was that, and then it was the pandemic, so then they weren't going to really do much for those, and I wonder if they just kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, very disappointing. How was your cake?
It's good. It's good cake. It doesn't really taste like strawberries. I don't know. Tastes like red. Your
poop tomorrow is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Gotta get a fart or poop joke in some point.
Oh yeah. That's what the people are here for. That's what you're here for.
Hello everybody. Poop, fart, bye-bye.
That's the extent of our hockey analysis.
Go, let's go.
I mean, to be quite honest, Mikhail Backlund could suck a fart right now. I wouldn't be too upset about it.
That is true. He seems like he's a big fart sucker.
It's so weird because in all these games, I mean, he's played in Calgary forever, and in all these games, I've never been like, oh, Mikhail Backlund, bane of my existence, curse you. I mean, they've always had, I guess they've always had Matthew Tkachuk, and they had Sam Bennett before they traded him to Florida. They traded both of them to Florida. And I was like, I guess they just needed to refill their douchebag.
Yeah, I think that it's really kind of interesting to me that they lost those guys. Like those guys just didn't want to play for him, and then they bring in Kadri and they kind of retool themselves really kind of quickly and impressively. And you think, oh man, Calgary is going to be a hell of a team this year, and they've got they I don't know that they had much of a championship window there necessarily, but their window, they took their window from being this thing that they could do for a while to this thing that they've got a very short realistic window. And right now they're not even in the playoffs. I mean, yeah.
Now the window has vanished from existence, and no one knows where it is.
I mean, I'll be surprised if they don't manage to make the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But I mean, they're at 66 points. Minnesota and Seattle are at 70. I don't know. I feel like Seattle's kind of falling. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Calgary take their place.
Maybe. They're going to need to be much better than they were. And when you have a game on the second night of a back-to-back where you didn't play the night before, you're not really and you don't win that. It's not
Are we kind of in a position where we're hoping that they do back-to-backs in the playoffs?
No. Because as nice as it is for them to win these second nights of a back-to-back, God, they're not pretty.
No, well, tonight wasn't bad though.
This was the better of the three, I'd say.
Yeah. But I mean, MacKinnon comes out and just snipes that one, and you just kind of get this feeling in the building, and then they get that second one, and you're like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, it felt like the Avs were playing pretty fast-paced hockey, and there were definitely times it felt like at the latter half of the first and second period that kind of caught up with them, and they were reeling a little bit. But one thing I was really impressed with them was defensively. I thought they played really well. I don't like Calgary. There was before the MacKinnon goal, they actually had a few chances to take the lead, but they just couldn't finish, and then. Basically, it just didn't feel like there was very much.
Sorry.
The broadcast on Altitude mentioned.
I'm bored. I'm just gonna watch something.
mentioned that that the Avs had blocked like 24 shots, and it felt like for the most part they were keeping the Flames to the outside, and they just weren't giving them very much, and they were blocking or getting sticks in the way.
There were only a few times.
Yeah.
What did the Fancies look like? Did they have much in the way of actual? I mean, I know they outshot the Avs, but did they have much in the way of high dangers?
Well, at
5v5,
it says high danger chances were 18-14 for Calgary. It said they had 11 in the second period, and I just can't bring myself to think of 11 chances where I was like, I don't know. I guess there were some scrums that maybe
the second period was the only. I mean, with this, what certainly was the only period where I had much in the way. Like in the first, about 5 minutes of the third, I thought if they could. My thought was.
Well, you didn't even need to wait 5 minutes into the third.
No, I was like, if you can get through the first 5 minutes of the third without them scoring one, I think we're in going to be in good shape, and that's kind of the mindset I went into the third with was, they're more rested. They're going to come out guns a-blazing and butts akimbo. And they did, and it didn't matter. So.
Say butts akimbo?
I did say butts akimbo.
Okay.
I think it should be in the lexicon.
Okay. I'm not sure I've met
butts flying everywhere. Butts akimbo.
I'm not sure I've met a single person who uses the word akimbo more than my father. It's a fun word, I will say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's just according to everything, and I mean, I would tend to agree. The second period was definitely Calgary's best period.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Avs did a good job of hanging on in the second period, keeping them off the score sheet. And when they did eventually let them score, it was so close to the intermission that they were able to regroup. And it really felt like the third period, similar to last night, it just felt like Calgary didn't push very much. I mean,
I felt like they pushed for the first few minutes, and then it just didn't work.
They pushed. They pushed, but I don't think they pushed. I wasn't like I wasn't
But I think the Avs very effectively countered their push in that first 5 minutes. Like they were ready for them to come out butts akimbo and they were ready to counteract that. Like Bednar is like, I have the anti-butts akimbo strategy. That's
exactly what he said in the locker room.
But that's what it felt like to me in the arena. It was like the third period, like they came out, that you knew. I mean, basically everybody in the arena knew. Come out, shut them down for the first 5, and go from there, right?
Yep.
And they did that, and Calgary came out wanting to score something in the first 5, because I think I heard somebody when I went up and said hi to the DNVR guys during the intermission, and when I was walking back down, I heard somebody talking about how, if they can just score 1, and it's 3-2, and everything will be all right. And I was like, okay. But, the Avs know that too. It's not like It's a secret strategy.
Once they score, they're guaranteed 1 goal.
Right. I think the defensively, Bo is looking so good. Manson is smushing.
I did my post-game article, and I just put the whole blue line. I thought they were all pretty good.
Except for McDermott, yeah.
Yeah. From the start, I wasn't thrilled with McDermott, and then he was doing a good job. Someone posted something on Twitter about how he wasn't taking any fights because Lucic was trying to start something, and then he did take that fight, and he was winning it, and then Lucic just got one on him. That's all you need.
Yep.
And then that kind of spiraled into things.
I was very disappointed by that, because I had literally said to your mom, like, earlier, like maybe 5 minutes of gameplay before that, I saw Lucic out there skating around with his visorless helmet. I was like, I just would love to see Kermit just punch him right in the visorless face. Yeah. And he didn't. He had the chance. And you're right.
Well, he landed a few.
I like his little jabs.
For some, it's so weird. I don't know. It feels like, I don't know. He's just accustomed to people not wanting to really fight against him. It feels like. Yeah.
That's what Lucic does, right? I mean, the reason he doesn't have a visor is because he's so fucking old that he doesn't have to wear one. So.
Right. And
by the way, during the little beforehand thing when they were talking about the guy that they were honoring, I apologize that I can't remember his name, but they showed a picture of him wearing a helmet that was like an old leather, like it looked like one of those old leather football helmets, but it was like, it looked like the inner part of a helmet that you wear nowadays, only made of leather instead. Like it didn't have, it was just like, it was so weird. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know that was I don't think I'd ever seen a picture of a hockey helmet that looked like that. I did not know that was a thing.
The guy's name is Herb Carnegie, by the way. I remember his name was Carnegie. I just couldn't remember
Carnegie Hall. Carnegie.
Yeah.
Mellon.
That ceremony was cool. We talked about that. That was cool. We completely skipped over the Avs' next 2 goals, the middle 2 goals. This was something that Newhook. I talked about this last night on the solo podcast. I was like, he could just get one, because I was impressed with him against Edmonton. He got bumped to the second line in that game, and then he was going really well last night. And it's just been, you could tell when he's skating and he's confident with the puck, but he's just losing that little bit of that last part of he's just not shooting the puck, just defaulting when he really shouldn't be. But and it was nice to see him score one. And apparently everybody and their mother immediately saw that and was like, this is exactly like Darren Helm's goal in Game 6.
Oh, I saw it. Somebody posted top and bottom of the Helm video and this one, like how they they're both on the same side. They both came from LOC.
Yeah,
a pass off the boards. But the St. Louis one, it was a straight pass, whereas this one, he was trying to pass it to him and it got tipped.
Oh, okay.
Calgary guy tipped it. So it kind of changed its trajectory just enough, but he was still able to kind of slow down and then get it off the boards and smack it in. It was,
I mean, that was just a really nice shot.
Yeah. No, it was he needed that for sure. I'm not Rodriguez, I thought almost he had a couple good shots.
Yeah, he's definitely picking up his play. He just needs to score one, I think. He had one where he just ripped it right into Markstrom's chest, and I was like, ugh.
I was like, dude, the C in the middle of his chest is not a target. It's
like, I understand he isn't even that good, but he's not he's not so bad that he's defying the law of physics. Right. But that was a big goal. I just hope he can find a little bit more consistency down this stretch. Hopefully he has a little bit more of a solidified role on this third line. Not much. He should be playing with better players, because if the Avs make like any move for a second line player, someone's going to come down, whether that's Comfer or Rodriguez, and then when Landeskog eventually gets back, whatever that is.
Right. I think the trade deadline acquisition is basically getting Landeskog back. I'll be surprised if they do much other than what they did today. Their big goalie move.
Yeah, I hope they do something a little bit more, something a little bit bigger. But I mean,
I just don't. I just don't see where the assets are. I just don't see what they can.
I have to get my camera to focus.
I don't know what they can.
My way to do it.
I don't know what they have to trade with. So I don't really. One thing that I feel confident with Sakic is that he is not interested in trading in mortgaging too much of the future for now. Like, he has done that to some extent.
Sakic.
Well, I know it's not Sakic, but he still has a lot to do with it. So I think, I think that's kind of the philosophy that the organization seems to have is don't mortgage the future especially on a rental. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, if you can get another MacKinnon kind of thing, then maybe it's worth it, right? Because you don't know what your draft pick is going to turn into. And if you know what you can get with a guy like a MacKinnon that you can keep around for a while. But many of these guys that I keep hearing about are rentals. And I personally, as an Avs fan, I would love for them to win the cup again this year. But I think they've got the amazing thing to me is watching the East sit there and trade. They're all mortgaging their futures on this year. Only one of them is going to make it to the cup.
Right.
The rest of them are going to be like, well, so there went those picks and those prospects.
We suck again.
Right. And in 5 years, they're going to be rebuilding. And I hope the Avs aren't in that kind of position,
Right. Well, I'm hoping to do a pre-deadline podcast. So I'm not going to spoil too much here. Basically, I'll just keep moving along with the game because he has to have a big 5-on-3 kill.
They did. Their penalty kill all around tonight was
and I mean
Calgary's first one was a power play, but
I mean nothing really to do about that. I don't think you could blame a single Av for that. The only Av you can kind of blame is Andrew Cogliano. And I mean it wasn't a bad call. Probably the only good call that the officials made all night, but I mean it wasn't like it was a stupid lazy play from him either. Then the third goal, you're a well-known Nichushkin fan, and I thought he had this goal. I think he would have. I think it had gone in if Mikko wasn't there, but it was still. I do think it is kind of funny. I wrote about it in my article how that's Mikko's side. It's a great one-timer, and it goes in off of. It ends up going like if you reverse those roles, it would make complete sense.
The way that it went, the way that play worked. I actually thought it was Rantanen who had shot it at first because that looked like exactly what Rantanen would do, right? So, yeah. Then I was all like, oh, no, wait, that's Nichushkin. Holy shit.
Yeah. I wish he had gotten that one.
It doesn't happen without him. I mean,
it's not.
it would be
I just
nice
wanna
if it
post
was
my
his
GIF.
goal, but yeah, it would be nice if it was his goal, but another one for Rantanen.
Yeah, and I mean, Nuke did end up with 2 assists today. You can tell he's getting his footing back.
He seemed a lot more solid tonight, I felt like.
Yeah, you could tell these guys who are coming back from injury, this game especially, were much better than they were in the other Sega Babas, which is a nice, just a sign in their, improvement and getting back to health.
Well, it's great that Manson was able to play both of them, right? And
he got an assist. It was also his 500th game.
Yeah,
so good for him.
Yeah. And you got the boys, the other 3 skating. I can't even believe that Helm is skating. I didn't expect that at all. So for him to be out there skating is a nice sign too. That
skating was what possessed Alex Newhook to score that goal.
we were talking about how nobody in the West wants to play the Avs, like in the playoffs. Like we're getting down to that point, right, where playoff seeding is starting to happen, and your mom said she read something where it's like Dallas and Winnipeg are both just kind of like letting the Avs get ahead of them so that they won't have to play them in the first round.
I mean, I guess that would make sense. Well, it wouldn't, but it kind of would.
Yeah, I'm like, nobody wants to play. Nobody wants these guys. If they can stay healthy and get these 3 guys who are skating, get them back, with say 10 games left to play in the regular season, and they stay healthy the rest of the way, these guys get enough time to kind of get their legs back under them and start playing their brand of hockey. Holy crap! Like the West is just not good enough. To deal with these guys. It's impressive.
Yeah, they just got to take advantage of it. And I mean, it's not just, that the West is bad. I mean, the Avs have done their work to get back to where they are. So
yeah. No, it's the fact that Bednar isn't in any kind of conversation about coach of the year is who knows? Season's not over yet. Maybe he ends up in that conversation, but to have his team where they're at, considering what they've had to do this season, that's not nothing.
I don't know what it is. They just don't. I thought maybe winning the cup would do it, but I don't know. I think if they do get the first seed, I think he'll get some talk, but
yeah, maybe if they could score more power play goals.
They scored a power play goal.
They did. Finally.
Yeah. But who doesn't need a power play? Denis Malgin.
Dude, my favorite thing about that is how silly he made Big Z look.
Yeah.
I mean, he just dangled right around him.
Yeah, I was watching the replay. Here, let me see if I can find it really quick. But yeah, no, that was ridiculous. He just, and I mean, I don't know. There were people who were surprised by it, and I'm like, I get it. I mean, that's a really impressive goal, and I mean, he's not like Nathan MacKinnon. It's not like you're like expecting this from him.
I saw a thing that he said. That's the best goal I've ever scored.
No, fair enough. I mean, it's a really nice goal. I don't have like, and I'm not like saying, expect Denis Malgin to just do this, But I mean, the dude has some serious skill, and ever since, I mean, when he was first here, you could see the skill, and then he had that one game against Toronto where he had that really bad like mistake that led to a goal. Then he got injured, and then he came back, and it felt like now that he's come back, I mean, he's one of their best. I mean, he's such a good 4th liner for this team. I mean, he could even be like a 3rd liner probably.
When you got these guys with these legs, man, they got wheels on the 4th line.
Yeah.
It's just, whew.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
It really is. And I mean, I've talked about this with Blake. I don't want to talk about it too much. It's just, one of those things where the Avs better re-sign this guy come the offseason because he's an RFA. I mean, obviously, Abe Cabell was an RFA last year, but Malgin fits this team's identity so much better. And I mean, you could tell he's fitting in and it just works. He's just a really talented hockey player.
How old is he?
I think he's 24.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. He is 20. He's 26.
Oh, all right. Well, it's a little older than I thought, but still,
off.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, still an RFA.
Yeah, I'm not saying that that he doesn't deserve a. I mean, the thing is that RFAs are pretty easy to bring back, right? When they're no offense, but a lower level RFA, right? Like,
yeah,
who's going to go out there and give him like a massively bigger contract than the Avs are willing to give him?
Right. No, I mean, just
it's not like
you just
JT is a free agent, right?
Yeah, him and Era. It's just with those two walking, and you need to find some cheap replacements. I mean, I really just think you really want to bring this guy back, unless God forbid something really bad happens to him. I mean, there's just no reason not to bring him back. Yeah. I also think it's funny that when he was, I wish England was on the ice because the forward line was Matt Nieto, who's 83, Alex Newhook, who's 18, and him, who's 81. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah. 8.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you saw it when I don't know, but at some point, like I think it was right after the break, Peter Baugh tweeted out that the Avs can should have ice a line of all 8s. You could have Nieto, Newhook, Malgin, Makar, and Englund.
It's a lot of 8s.
That's a lot of 8s.
Englund played well tonight too, by the way.
Like I said, I was impressed with all the defense.
He's with EJ, I've seen a lot of people like, should the Avs like be targeting a defenseman for, a trade or something? And I'm like, honestly, like I'm not opposed to them finding a depth winger or center or whatever, forward or a depth defenseman. But like I said, I just don't want them to, I don't feel like it's necessary to like, you got to keep your first rounder this year, right? Like this draft is an important one, I think, to keep your first round draft pick.
Yeah.
And if you can get somebody for like, but they don't have any second or third rounders. So like, I don't know what, like I'm kind of like, I don't really, it's kind of like today's move, right? It's just like some random dude who basically plays for the Eagles, getting traded. And, I don't know. I don't expect a whole lot. The one thing that we haven't talked about though, is the Kadri, video
thing. So I haven't actually had a chance to watch it because I had to write the post-game article, but you give me your thoughts on it.
It was.
I know if I was there, I'd have been.
I did not openly weep, but I definitely did. There was a tear in the eye for sure for that, and it was a good video tribute. It was so much longer than I expected it to be, because they didn't just show him like scoring a couple of goals and thanks, good job, buddy. Like they showed like the stuff he did in the community, and they showed like, him at the hospital with kids, and him like just all of these things that he did, to make an impact. That I think I don't understand. The one thing that drives me nuts about the whole thing with Nazem Kadri is I was talking the other night with some buddies about it, and I've never gone back and watched his dirty hits when he was with Toronto, like what gave him the reputation of a dirty player.
Right.
But I know that the one thing that he did with the Avs got him an 8-game playoff suspension that was totally not worth an 8-game suspension.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a dirty hit. It was a bad play. Like he didn't have to make the hit the way he did. Like
it was a stupid play.
Yeah. Like I don't think that it was I don't think that he wasn't headhunting. He didn't break his stick across somebody's back. He didn't do any of the things that like what's his dickhead in Washington does, right?
Yeah.
But he gets an 8-game suspension in the playoffs, which I don't. And he's just done so many good things outside of hockey. Like he's shown himself to be a good human being. And that's, I think, why I was so bummed that he didn't come back here.
Especially
like,
sucks that he went to Calgary.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been worse. He could have gone to like Minnesota, but not
Right.
that Minnesota was really in the play. But like, I mean, there could have been worse places for him to go but Calgary. But like, it was just such a bummer to like, it seemed like the Avs had a chance to bring him back. And I feel like, I don't know, man, like I understand you got to take care of your family and you know, and all that stuff. But I'm like, how many Eddie have had a very charmed life. You have, and we are far from millionaires in our family, right? Like we didn't need millions and millions of dollars to give you a good life and comfortable and like I'm like
for nothing.
Right. And I'm like, how many millions of dollars do you need to have? Like, I get it. Like, I don't blame you for going where they were going to get it. I think it was mostly a term thing, right? Like,
yeah,
he got 7 years, right? And I don't think the Avs were comfortable giving a player his age a 7-year contract for the amount of money that he wanted. I don't blame him. But it's just such a bummer because he's such a good person. As far as I can tell, I don't know. I've never met the guy. Maybe he's a total dick, but
I've heard nothing but good things about Kadri as a person.
Me too, and that's
I'll always love him, and I wish he had gone somewhere a little less. I mean, even just even
I just wish he had gone at least to an Eastern Conference team.
Right. Yeah. But part of the reason that I don't like that he went to the Flames is the shit they pulled in the third period. I want to talk about that a little bit more. I'm not a big Blake isn't a big fight guy, and I'm not like a huge fighting guy, but I like fighting a bit more than Blake. I like to see some guys beat up on each other.
I'll stand up when they start fighting, but that's mostly because everybody else stands up and I can't see what's going on. So
yeah. But I mean, if you're gonna, I don't think it. I'd have to rewatch this, but good Lord, I mean, if you're Michael Backlund, it's not the dirtiest play in the world, but I mean, you could tell he's not. This isn't just he's got a little bit of some sour intentions in his mind. And then MacKinnon, I think MacKinnon probably should have let up at some point. The whole bear hug thing probably wasn't necessary, but you gotta
MacKinnon gets heated.
Yeah.
I mean,
and someone pointed out it was, he had that rib injury earlier this year, and it was like maybe that set him off. But I mean, you just gotta answer the bell at some point. On that one, I'm not as upset about him answering the bell because I don't think he does something particularly wrong. But then you come out, you throw Mikko Rantanen to the ground, and then you give him a few while he's down. It's like, all right, you're just asking for it at this point. And I mean, Bowen Byram was like, okay, That's enough. I've had enough of your bullshit, sir.
Yep. Well, and the thing is that the reason it gets to that point is because the refs aren't doing their fucking job. You know, like I said, they had those high school kids out on the. We were talking about this on the phone, I think, not during this yet. So before the game, they have the kid who skates with the Avs, and they always do that, right? But then tonight, I'm not really sure why. I don't remember what their reasoning was, but they had these two.
It's like Hockey Week in America or something.
Yeah, it's Hockey Week, but I still don't know why you had two random like kids who are refs, were on the ice also. And I was like, can we just keep them on the ice? Because they're probably going to be better than you. And lo and behold, they were. I mean, I can't imagine that those kids would have been any worse than these guys were in terms of just letting shit go. And, you know, you let teams you let teams get to this point where it becomes we have to police it, right?
Yep.
And you got Bo and Byram, who is like the last person on this team who should be doing anything fight wise, like standing up, because he's like you said, I'm tired of your bullshit. Yoink.
Right. And then you have Mackenzie Weegar just coming out of nowhere, who dropped his gloves and just like threw Val Nichushkin down. And it's not, I don't know. I don't think Val Nichushkin, it's not like Val Nichushkin was just standing there and he was like, I'm going to kick your ass. Just threw him to the ground. But I mean, he dropped his gloves. That's like a penalty. You can't just do that.
But they also had they in the arena, they showed it was.
And then they had like
early
the too many men also.
Right. And they had the high stick on Hunt, I think it was, where in the arena they showed the replay, and the replay they showed was from ice level, and you see the ref come into the scene looking straight at what's happening with their stick coming up into the Av guy's face, and no call. And it's just like, what are you even doing out there?
Yeah,
like
it's, I don't know, maybe, and I know one of the refs was pretty young. I feel like a game like this, I mean, it's national televised in Canada. And I mean, it's like a Saturday night, just don't put him on this game. Put him on that, Boston and Vancouver played earlier. Give him that one.
Put him on the Dallas Vegas game and see if he can get another goal scored during regulation. God, I'm so sick of extra points from freaking overtime.
Dude, Vegas had a lead with 4 minutes left. I'm like, come on.
I'm so done with it, man. Like, it's so easy to fix. It's so easy to fix, NHL. 3 points for a win, 2 points for an overtime win, 1 point for an overtime loss. It's easy. It's easy. Make it worth it to win in regulation instead of making it worth it to tie in regulation.
Yeah, it's I don't know,
because you get the same thing if you win in overtime that you would if you won in regulation. So it's worth it to just kind of like play out that last minute or two, just kind of turtling a little bit and trying to make sure the other guys don't score instead of making it worth it. Make it a 3-point win. It's so fucking simple. Sorry.
Right. No, it's fine. I just don't have the
best game, worst league.
The same passion for that system as you do. But, well, I mean, there's not much else to touch on. The third period was pretty gung-ho. It was mostly just Calgary trying to do some nonsense. And the answer like, no, we're just going to win. Thanks.
Trying to goon it up.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't, according to the fancies, apparently Georgiev played great. I'm not saying he played bad. I thought he played really well. Just that, I just didn't think he was tested as much as this shows, but
I didn't.
Two really good games in a row from him. You only let in 2 goals in 2 games. Got to win a lot of hockey games.
On a back-to-back, you won 9-2, right?
Yes.
We scored 9. They scored 2.
Yeah.
That's a successful back-to-back.
That's pretty good. And then, it gets tougher. This is a big week because they have Vegas, then New Jersey, then Dallas. You really want to make Vegas pay for not being helpful at all. And
Be nice.
Yeah.
And also just because they're Vegas.
Right.
Screw
these are
those
3
guys.
games you really want to win because screw Vegas, screw Dallas, and you already lost 1 game to New Jersey this year. The Avs haven't beaten a lot of these really good teams. Granted that most of the times they played them was when they were really injured. So, and they're going to play a few of them, and they've got to win them. They've got to win these games. Games in hand mean nothing if you don't take advantage of them. So,
yep.
But
yep.
let's get your 3 stars here.
You got to go with the dog, right?
Which one?
Nate.
No. Which star?
Oh, he's probably my first star. Let's see. Nate is definitely my first star. I don't know, man. I feel like Georgiev. I can't decide if Georgiev is quite in my top 3, but I think he definitely deserves an honorable mention, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who else scored? Rantanen. I think I'm gonna give my 3rd star to Malgin just because he made Big Z look stupid.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that about him. I liked Big Z when he was here, but I also appreciate him not being here because
he's one of those guys.
So many dumb things.
Yeah.
Well, I know the official 3 stars were Nate, Choo Choo, and Bobai. I'm looking right at it, so.
He's got his head buried in his paw.
Not your dog. I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good with Nate and Val, and I think I'm going to do Malgin as my 3rd star.
I have the same. I'm going to put Malgin as the 2nd just because that goal was so good, and I'll put Nichushkin as the 3rd. Just I don't know, goals talk, baby.
Yep.
And then I'll give an honorable mention to Georgiev, just like you. So not very different. Another successful jersey debut. This is the first time I got to wear my Manson jersey.
Yeah.
It was timed well that it was his 500th game. That's kind of cool.
That is cool. I wore mine for the Edmonton game, so
did good in that one too. Got another assist.
Now I've got the bow on this one. So Bo has been playing really freaking good hockey, man.
Yeah, I talked about it last time. It's like, we haven't seen this much consistency from Bo, and the only reason that it gives you some pause is because, there's no Kale, but everybody, if you just watch how he played in juniors and, you watch him when he's on his game, no reason to think he can't keep this up. And if he can, then look out. America.
I was thinking when you were talking about that in your yesterday, I was thinking, man, you got Kale and Bo and Taves, like holy crap, that's a hell of a top
Sam.
3.
Sam's been good.
Sam has been very good, but those 3 are like
right.
That's disgusting having that much defensive talent on your team, and then you back that up with Sam and Manson just oof. And then England is your 6th defenseman, and I'm really comfortable with that. Like I don't see a need to go out and overpay for another defenseman,
Yeah.
Like
defensemen are always pricey. So
yeah. And I'm comfortable with England being on that bottom pairing, even going into the playoffs, and hopefully EJ can come back and take that spot back. And I think EJ has a lot to offer from a leadership standpoint.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to get him back for the playoff run, but
Yep. So
yeah, those are things that we said
these
on
are
video.
things. So, all right. Well,
apparently you're going to post it, so it'll be on there forever.
are those your final thoughts, or is there anything else you'd like to speak on before we get out of here?
Well, let me talk about the war. No, I'm just kidding. I will say, I will say that it's cool that the Eurolanche guys are here in town and we're able to their first game in town was that game. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think I overlap with them a little bit, so that'll be cool. Yeah. It'll be nice to be getting to a little bit more of a better schedule coming up soon. Play closer to every other day.
How do they still have 4 more back-to-backs? God,
they have 4 more.
Yeah, this league is so freaking stupid.
They've
only got like 20, 50. But that was game 56. Is that right?
That was game 57.
57.
Yeah.
So they've got what? 25, 24.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And 4 more of them are 8 more games. 8 of those games, a third of those games are in back-to-back situations.
I only see 3 back-to-backs. Maybe whatever you saw wasn't counting today.
No,
or was counting today.
This one was number 5.
Oh no, you're right, because
they got
Dallas
and Ottawa.
Seattle. No, Dallas and Seattle next weekend is a back-to-back.
Oh, yep. Dallas, Seattle.
That's why.
And then they got the Toronto, Ottawa.
And then they got
Arizona, Anaheim, and then they finish with Winnipeg, Nashville.
Yeah. So.
Nope. You better run. It's the Popo. Good night, everybody.
Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. God.